The Way of Will John.
And I heard this from a freediver early on. She said there are as many ways to breathe as there are foods to eat. And just as you would eat certain foods to allow your body to better perform at different levels, you would breathe in different ways. So there's no blanket prescription for everybody. And that's what was so confusing when I was first researching this book. You know, I was buying these pranayama books, 400 different methods. They all have these crazy names. I'm like, cool. Where do I start? What do I do? Yeah. So I tried to focus in the book. It's, you know, the center of the book is like, okay, here's how you should breathe if you're an asthmatic, if you're an ultra marathoner, if you're a cyclist, whatever. Everyone's going to benefit from breathing through the nose. It doesn't need to be all the time. I'm talking about habitual breathing needs to be through the nose. And especially for aerobic training, for running, nasal breathing is so far superior for so many reasons. We can get into that later. Another thing you need to do is to breathe deeply. Deep doesn't need to be big. It's not like when you breathe through the nose is this natural buffer, so it slows down the air. There's your altitude training mask, right? This naturally slows down the air and it makes it harder to exhale that air. That's good. That allows your lungs more time to extract more oxygen. So that's why we have this thing, and that's why our nose is filled with all these different structures. Our mouths aren't. I can take a huge breath like that. That doesn't mean it's good. That doesn't mean it's efficient. I can use my mouth in an emergency if I get popped in the face or if I can't use my nose, but that doesn't mean I should be mouth breathing. And there's so much science supporting that, you know. So after you've gotten that nasal breathing and you're breathing slowly and deeply, you can start to focus on breathing less. And this is something I've seen with so many athletes is they do interval training by forcing them to breathe less during these different activities. By doing this, you acclimate your body to accept more CO2, which brings more circulation to your body, which brings more oxygen. So right now, if you were to like exhale and hold your breath, after a few seconds, you're going to feel this need to breathe. That's dictated by CO2, not oxygen. People say, I'm out of breath. I don't have enough oxygen. That's CO2 levels. And the more tolerant you are for higher CO2 levels, the better you're going to be able to perform, at least in many cases. And we've seen that with top tier athletes can withstand a lot of CO2. They're comfortable with it, which allows that circulation to be so much more vigorous throughout their bodies.